I'll do yourself.
And then also there's and they said, I call this meeting of the South Dakota School Minds Association Senate to order. Let's stand and say the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you all for doing that. Now let's practice this again. Holler out, and Vice President calls your name. Mr. VP.
Baumeister, Burns, Butcher, Kent, Lawson, Dirty, Graham, Halstead, Hill, Jensen, Jessen, King, Lauber, Keel, Meyer, Salcido, Sadler, Schaefer, Sengen, Smith, Stolman, Seavers, White, Wright, Yamalovich, Proxy Alaraper.
All right. Thank you, Mr. VP. I appreciate that. The agenda was sent out with a couple of revisions sent out a few hours ago. Nothing too major or of dire circumstances. Do you have any motions? Justin.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Approve.
Okay, seconded by Senator Rick. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Objections? Agenda is approved. Moving on to the minutes. Excuse me, Senator Momo.
Motion to approve proxy.
Motion to approve proxy, I apologize. All in favor of approving proxy, say aye.
Aye.
You didn't get a second.
Second by
You still
Severson.
have a motion.
You don't need a motion to approve the proxy. Senator Baumeister.
Or the agenda or the minutes, those are supposed to.
See, tripping me up here.
Quiet.
Okay, moving on to the minutes. Minutes were sent out Saturday, I believe, so those are good. Any comments on those? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Or all those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Objections? Minutes are approved. First up before us tonight is Dr. Herrick Scheppers, the Assistant Professor and Director of Choirs, here with a proposal. We'll pull it up on the screen. He's got handouts as well.
Yeah, does anyone need handouts? It's the exact same thing on the screen.
Take a handout here.
It's Yola again. These are just numbers with more specific numbers about the proposal that I was here, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, I can't remember. So I put it out, the best way to approach this, I put it out in a group of co-directors that have expertise in this, because it's not my expertise. And this is what came back to me. So I just
Get over there.
or you can just follow on the screen. So basically, what we're asking for are these 4 items. So if you look at the first item there is, it's 8 handheld mics that are wireless, and the whole set of 8 mics goes for $641. And then you also need a mixer. There are different channels, so there's an 18-channel mixer. I think there's also a 16, I believe, which is out of stock, and a 12, but it's not significantly cheaper. And I was just thinking, might as well just get the 18-channel, and then in the future we can just buy more. If we have to buy more mics, we already have the extra channels. I think the difference was like $20 or $30 between the 12 channels, so it just makes sense. And then I looked for the cheapest mic stands, which is like $29.82 or something, so I just rounded it up to $30. 8 for the 8 mics that we need. And then the microphone cables. And so it's just laid out there, 2 sets of the 150 feet mic cables. The first 3 items can be bought at, there are multiple places we can buy from online, but I looked at the cheapest, which is VH Photo. And then the last one for the mic cables is at the IV Spot. So the total comes to $1,600, just a little over $1,600. Rounded it out because it didn't include tax or anything. Yeah, so that's the 4 line items. Any questions or?
Senator Jessen.
Yeah.
Is there, like, have you tried to get these items another way?
Do you mean through like providers that are not online?
Or like, like if it's for like a band, aren't there other like funds and ways that you can access for those?
We have a very, very, very limited budget, as it is with music. Like we would not even get like a fifth to pay for that. Yeah. So, and the reason why we came to Senate was this is not just for music; it is for the entire student population because it will be at all homecoming football games. You can use it indoor and outdoor. The big thing was to get mics that are suitable for outdoor that can withstand wind noise. But you can use it both inside, outside, whenever there's performances. It's also for the people online watching any of our games online as well. So these mics will not be used for music performances or regular music concerts. This is specifically for sports games when we perform the national anthem outdoors. So, and the reason why this came up, like for the past 3 years, there's been a lot of comments like we have a lot of sound issues whenever the national anthem is being sung, and we have to change channels, and so the people watching online as well, they can't hear anything. So yeah, it's just mute. So it's announcer, they announce the national anthem, and then it just goes mute while we sing the national anthem, and then they literally change channels, plug in the announcer again. So yeah.
Senator Burke, you have any more?
Yeah, this is for a single shot. Do you know where this would pull from? Like what fund this would come from?
So right now, we're looking at pulling from our SOAP reverted funds.
Which is at?
Which is, I don't know the exact number, we're talking to Aaron later about this, but it's somewhere around $200,000.
North of $200,000.
So not a big, not.
This is a drop in the bucket that would, in my opinion, it's just me. Drop in the bucket that would impact hundreds of students.
Yeah.
So CFO Shop, you did have a point?
I have a question. So like if a club, say Pet Band, asked to use the sound system, would they be able to? Like for some event?
The thing is, I would make sure that we keep control over it. I would be willing to lend it out to students if they know how to work it and if it's trustworthy. But yeah, of course, we want to get as much use out of it. We don't want it to sit in the closet and just use it for like 6 football games throughout the year. Of course not. So yeah, whenever athletics, that's the big other thing, is whenever athletics needs to use it, even for their indoor games, we would be willing to share it with them, so. Yeah.
Big Pee Wee.
So two things. First, just to confirm, this equipment will be in the custody of like the media or the music center.
I mean, it potentially
Okay.
could, it would make sense, but you know, whatever you decide, you know, if you approve this, you can also decide on who houses it. Is it, you know, is it the athletics department? Is it the student? Yeah, whoever ever needs to, you know, host that. So,
But
we do have a sound studio up at the music center where it's, you know, equipped with all our equipment. So, yeah, we could just use it, house it there as well. So.
And then the other question is, I know our university works with Haggerty's a lot, but I'm not sure what their price point would be, or if they'd be able to offer like a discount for such a purchase. I don't know, have you considered that at all?
I have not looked into that because we've tried to use them actually to help us with the sound, and they say they definitely do that. So, but we could get potential equipment, and I think that was referring to like installation and expertise in actually installing the equipment. But that's a very good point. I can go with this to them and say, hey, can you get this cheaper, since we already have a contract with them, with the school, and that relationship. They may be able to get it, I don't know, who knows, a little cheaper for us. So yeah, I haven't done that, so.
Senator Smith, you have a point?
Yeah, there's a similar program with the humanities department where you can rent a camera or a microphone, so it might be good to do something like that. Store it in a safe space, you know, maybe in the music center, where people like who know how to handle it can put it away, and then they just make sure that people sign it out and sign it back in.
Senator Hill.
I think the last time you were in here, you mentioned needing a sound engineer, adjacent kind of guy. Did you find somebody to set up and run it?
I have not yet.
Okay, so I'll send you another email.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah.
I know a guy.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Senator Jensen.
So every time this is used, does it need to be like installed and set up properly for the space, or?
The hope is that these mics can be run through a mixer, and certain locations may already have that in their location. We will. The reason why we're getting the mixer is I highly doubt that. I don't think I know that the sound booth at the stadium does not have that. So the plan is to install it and leave it there, at least just a mixer. The mics we will keep back, and then we'll just, you know, plug it in whenever we use it. So yeah.
Senator, I'm gonna go Senator Sattler first.
Yeah, so would any excess funds on this revert back to us? CFO Shop? Okay.
Big Pee Wee.
Yeah. So maybe the mixer board would be in the custody of like athletics, and then the rest of the equipment would be with music. Like, would that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Senator Bowmeister.
My one concern with having it go to the athletics would be if there's a desire to use it outside of athletics. For example, if it wanted to be used for a commencement ceremony or for something else, that would be eliminated. Then we would need to get athletics involved for that, and we may not want to do that.
Senator Burke.
I don't think, maybe I'm wrong here. This is for outdoor use only, and commencement has never been outside, so I don't see.
This will be like 90% outside. The
Okay.
reason why I brought up that it could also be used inside is it's just like double whammy. Like
It could help.
it could help.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
if we ever need extra mics, which we sometimes do, if it's larger groups singing, then I
Yeah.
have them performing inside. Commencement, and this is just me. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think also with commencement, usually whatever venue you use, they provide the sound. So
Marlene watching it.
yeah, yeah. So.
All right. Well, Senator Meyer, last comment.
I kind of showed up right at the beginning here. Did you say that you based this on VH's something?
No, this
I
is-
couldn't remember what I did.
So-
Well, I was just like, what sounds like?
No, so what I did is there's a professional group of choir directors, and I just posted it on that, and then a guy reached out to me
Okay.
that has specifically used these exact rats, and he sent me a sound clip as well, so I could listen to it. quality of that. So, yeah, it's somebody that actually has used this exact setup, so, yeah.
All right, well, thank you for coming in, we appreciate it. All right, moving on to the next point, we have Dr. Jim Stone, Civil and Environmental Engineering Department Head, as well as Interim Industrial Engineering Department Head. Take it away.
All right. Sure. So I'm a little under the weather. Maybe I'll just stand right here. And so I'm Jim Stone, Department Head, Civil and Environmental Engineering, and Interim Department Head for Industrial Engineering. So we've got some slides that are on here. Enrollment trends. So where things are going. So Civil is going. It's growing. It's grown a lot. I am in similar meetings trying to ask for more faculty resources to see what we can do to grow. We're understaffed. We've got a class that maybe 80 plus students, first year students coming this fall. It's enormous. That's coming this way. So but things are looking really good here. MS PhD, the job market has been pretty tight. But we're seeing there's some enrollments. We're getting a lot of accelerated master students that are coming through. PhD programs is flat. We've got about 18 to 19 PhD students in our program, largest on campus. MSCEM enrollment has also been ticking up quite a bit as well. So it's we had our 8A back 2015, 2016, but it's going up quite a bit, and we've got some really good faculty in that program that are teaching very well, and we're looking to expand and grow that, especially with the new learning designer that's on campus here. AES program, this was new. We were kind of at an inflection point about 3 or 4 years, 5 years ago. What do we want to do? So AES, BS program, meteorology. Now we have an environmental science program as well that's grown, and we're seeing numbers that keep ticking up there. So we were on the naughty list with the Board of Regents with that program, and but we were on the rebound, and that's going to continue to grow. Hiring another faculty member this semester that's going to come in to do the environmental sciences as well. Industrial engineering. So the trends that we're seeing with industrial engineering is that program it's got potential. And I advocated to keep that program separate and not merge it with another department. That was on the table. And as interim, I was like, that's not right. Industrial is one of the 4 legs of this table on this campus here. We've got a lot of students that transfer in, especially for mechanical and other programs where it doesn't quite jive. And so I convinced them. And now we're currently doing a department head search. We're doing Zoom interviews next week, and we got some good candidates that are lined up. That program's got potential. We're currently at about, it looks like 97 students total, undergraduate in that program, and I think it has potential to rise. So I'm working on that. The MEng, or Masters of Engineering Management, is the program that needs or has more potential to grow. And it's going to be the next leader that's going to move with that. There's some synergies with mining masters, the CEM masters that I think we could go through. I think that would be something that we're going to be working on. We've got the right faculty in place. We just need to kind of market and get that moving forward there. So there's some potential. So the good, the bad, and the path forward, let's say, with the program. I got them all merged that are on here. But we've got some really good, exceptionally highly skilled faculty teaching in both civil and industrial engineering. We've had some turnover and churn with some, but I've done a whole bunch of SGIDs and evaluations in the fall. I did 18 of those, going in to do evaluations and observe classes. And the new hires in industrial are unbelievable. I mean, I don't know if you've heard the stories, but there are some really good people. And we got some new good hires in civil as well that are there. So we've got some really good people, and we got Kozak also coming on board with the AES program, who's another going to be a good hire. In civil, we have a little bit of faculty turnover. We seem to have 1 or 2 that go on to greener, but it turns out to be browner pastures where they go. This area's not where they want to be for whatever reason, and so it's just it's part of the process. We see that all across campus. The temporary department head meeting in industrial, it's certainly been an awakening for them and for me, and meeting with the students, but there's definitely some opportunities that are there. We just lost Carter Kirk. He's a long-standing institutional stalwart for industrial engineering here. He's stepping down into fundraising, and we're looking at the replacements that are on here, but he's a long-standing person. Probably had him for engineering econ, I imagine. That's there. He's no longer part of that department, so so it's a new beginning. So the path forward, I got some environmental engineering faculty candidates. Had 2 on campus last week, 1 coming next week. They're all 2 that came are hireable. They're really good. I got 1 more that's coming. We're gonna get somebody. And there's an additional need, as I mentioned, for a civil instructor because we are at capacity. I don't want to have to put caps on our enrollments in our program, but it's between us. That's where I'm going. So we're gonna, so we are at capacity unless we get more resources. So I'm working on that, and then department head for industrial engineering. So we've got a good pool. I'm looking to bring somebody that's going to move this program into the future here. So initiatives, what have we been doing in these departments here? So with civil, obviously free food Fridays, you know about that? I know you know about that, yeah. So maybe I'll give you an open invitation to come this Friday. Anybody in this room, come on over and just come check it out, see what's going on. Got my blessing. We're hosting ASCE regionals on campus in mid to late May. 400 to 500 attendees are going to be here from all the Colorado schools, New Mexico schools, Wyoming schools around. Got the president of ASCE, the former president who's a Rapid City native is going to be here. It's an enormous event, and I think they're stressed with where things are moving to go through there. We've got the department's providing laptop stylists. Just looking at the computers that we have up here. So obviously there's no writing on screens, you're just kind of typing away. But then you've got a civil one here, so he's got the system, taking digital notes to go through. So we provide these little portable plug-in stylists to take notes. They're about $50. Department's paying for that. I've got a meeting with, or actually all the departments have a meeting with ITS on Thursday as part of our leadership thing to find out what would be a better laptop/tablet solution for this campus. Because right now, these could be powerful, but they're handicapped. The future is taking digital notes. Those of you going to the workplace, you're going to have to take digital notes that are on there. And when these got issued about 3 years ago, they're powerful, but they're not allowing you to take the notes the way you should be taking notes. So we're having those debates. So we'll see where this goes. Maybe civil or departments just buy a $150 Lenovo slate, like an iPad. Cheap Chinese iPad to take notes that are on there, and that could work. So we're working on that. Then I got a bunch of corporate sponsorships that are coming into civil to kind of provide some areas as well. So we'll see. In industrial, the garden level. Has anybody been down to the garden level of industrial engineering in the basement of the library? How would you describe it? Yeah. There was a time back before the library was remodeled. That was the premier space. But now we are behind the times. All right, so it's like a prison. Yeah, so it's got brick walls that are on there. So we are in the process of doing some remodel or fundraising to re-envision what that basement, I call the garden level, is of the regular library. As something that's welcoming, that's going to prospective students come in there, hey, this is industrial engineering, this is what we want. So I got some pictures I'll show you what we're kind of thinking of. Department head leadership, it's there. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And then, okay, so Carter Kirk retiring. And then AES, they just went to the AMS annual meeting down in Houston, had a good time down there. We're looking at doing some remodeling of AES spaces as well in there. This is what we're envisioning of the basement. I've been working with a contractor, and student collaborative spaces where you can come, hang out, study, collaborate, do stuff. Got a glass, just like you go up one flight. That's what it looks like. So we're trying to do that into the basement there. I spent this whole past summer teaching in New Zealand, and had a whole bunch of new buildings that were there. I was in Christchurch where they had an earthquake 10 years ago, and I got there and all these new buildings. I've seen the future. I know what future campuses look like. And I was teaching in spaces like there's spaces like this all over that campus. When I came back here, I was like, hey, we're going to do this. And so I'm working on some fundraising initiatives to make this, because it's for you all, it's for the students to collaborate and do things in these spaces there. And the last thing is the teaching reviews and stuff that we do. So we pride ourselves in civil, and we're trying to pride ourselves with industrial quality teaching. And I think I presented this last year. You know, we have classes, the SGIDs, the small group independent diagnostics, come in and we essentially do a survey and say, hey, what's going well in the class? What's not going well in the class? And what could you do to perhaps improve that as well? And then provide that feedback to the faculty members. And there's usually good change, not always, but there's usually pretty good change that occurs there. But we, you know, it could be observations of like the displays, the layouts, the audio, the writing on the screen. You know, some professors, you can't read the handwriting on the board or the screen, but they don't know that. And so we provide an opportunity to provide that feedback that's on there. So, and then there's teaching reviews and stuff like that. I usually have a meeting with the faculty member. I think I've got 22 of these scheduled for this month and going into March. That'll be in civil and industrial as well. But I can't do it all. I did it all last time, but I'm pretty busy this semester with searches and things. So I've got other faculty trained to do this as well. So you'll be seeing a number of these coming into these classes here. So it's good opportunities. And again, you get like this with Cape Arts class. What is he doing that's helping you learn the materials? What's he doing that hinders you? And then what could you do perhaps to do, I guess, to study better as well? So those are things we're working on. Yeah, and here's my tentative, this is my plan, my OneNote plan of the classes and who's doing what to the things on there. So this is my current schedule as it stands as of, I think, this afternoon of who's doing what. So a lot of classes are on there. So we're coming in. We'll be there soon. And then, oh, that's all I got. So, sorry, I'm a brain fog today. I don't know what's, I'm just under the weather. So what can I do to answer what questions you all have for me?
Senator Hill.
We have a unique opportunity with the retirement of Dr. Kirk. I know it's a long shot, but can we prioritize finding a Dr. Picard to replace him?
A Dr. Kirk, a replacement of Dr. Kirk?
Can it be a Dr. Picard?
Picard, I don't know who. Yeah. So we're trying to. So the request, yeah, I had to get Kirk's retirement in order to move forward with the department head. Yeah. So there's some budgetary challenges that are on there. This new department head is going to be a teaching department head.
Oh.
That's going to be not just a paper pusher, you know, but actually somebody that's going to be teaching and doing things in there. And so that's the plan, is to have somebody that's going to be teaching in that department.
Just make Kirk the department head.
Well, he's ready to move on. He's a legend. So there'll be a celebration sometime this spring with celebrate his amazing accomplishments that he's done in this campus.
Senator Meyer.
I've always noticed that civils tend to be really satisfied with their experience. It seems like I've always noticed. I've heard other people say, I've heard some say, say like they're pretty satisfied with what they come out with. What would you say are things that the civil department does that other departments don't?
Well, yeah, I mean, they seem to be pretty satisfied. We kind of, I think, making sure we have quality teaching, student engagement, things to connect our faculty and the students. And we've got good faculty, and we've got personable faculty that are, you know, that are there for everything. All my decisions are student first, you know, in what we do. So what's in the best interest for the students? And I don't know if that's the same way. That's what you can ask the other faculty or department heads that come into here. But for me, it's students first. And so and I think it makes a difference. But it's a collaborative group. I mean, we do Free Food Fridays. I mean, are you happy?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So those kind of things, you know, and we've got, you know, we're setting our students up for future success. That's our goal here, is to prepare them in the classroom to be future engineers for the grand challenges of tomorrow.
Senator Gomez.
With the turnover and being understaffed, how do you as a department head prioritize the students over the faculty when it comes to decision making, of looking at what's best for the students, not just trying to make sure that your faculty don't leave?
I think you're quite, so how do I put the students' feedback into the decisions that you do in the department? Or
how do you not let the professors have too much of a voice in decisions being made?
Well, you know, at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. I make the final decision, but as a leader, you've got to take you've got to consider all different voices. You know, and everybody has different weights, different voices. But the searches we just had, so we had our faculty searches on campus this past week. They meet with faculty, they go out to dinner with faculty, they also meet with students, talk to students. I got student feedback. I provided extra credit in one of my classes for students to come see their teaching demo. To tell me clearly they filled out a D2L survey, is this person hireable? Would you take a class with this person? If I got a bunch of students saying they were awful, they have no potential, then I would probably take that into consideration, and perhaps that person is a do not hire that's on there. So.
Question I got reflecting. So civil engineering and infrastructure is big in Rapid City. And sort of out here in Hills, it's one of the main engineering, industries that we have, civil and environmental. So I guess what are some ways that the civil and environmental department currently can partner more or augment more with the city on projects, paid sponsorships, senior design, and stuff like that?
We do. I mean, our senior design, we talked to one of your senators right here on Steel Avenue. Yeah, so that intersection right there, that was our capstone design project, working with Elevate Rapid City. So, you know, we wanted a new entrance to campus that would be something. Accidents are happening there, so we have capstone projects that are sponsored with various city entities. And, you know, not a lot of research projects because these projects aren't really funded projects. Faculty need money to support graduate students to do things, and that's a little difficult there. But we place a lot of our students into the various companies in our region. You know, just look at a career fair like KLJ, HDR, Respect, all the big firms where they're hiring our students. You know, the HDR office downtown has 32 students or 32. Employees there, and I think 3/4 of them are school lunch breaks. Working in that office right downtown, and it's crazy. Yeah, I've been in meetings with companies that want to relocate corporate offices here because they find it easy to attract and retain employees that want to stay here in Rapid City. So I've been visit with CEOs of a couple different companies throughout the way to do that. So it's good. There's definitely opportunities. Good place to be. Although for some of the faculty, perhaps this is not, for greener pastures and go on, but for the rest of them, it's still good.
All right, we'll see you no more. Thank you very much.
Thanks for what you do.
Yeah, thank you. All right, moving on. We don't have any unfinished. Yes, sir.
Quick question. This is just how I personally feel like. It might be a bit controversial what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But like civil and mechanical, we had them before, right? And it doesn't change as much, but did you hear anything from Dr. McGee himself? Because me and Clyde met with him last year, didn't we? And like everything he said did not change, right? If Asher, who went to the town hall too, from what I understand what he said, to me, like that whole department just purely hates each other. Like
for Professor Magoo?
Yeah, did he say about this? Because he didn't come last year, we had to go to him.
Yeah,
and
so he is on the schedule to be into the Senate. Let me look and see what it is.
Because I like totally appreciate
It's the 11th.
No, Jake, what I was trying to say, I do think it's really cool, but like, I feel like that department has the problem last year, and nothing that has changed because like Clyde and me met with him last year, and Neiman was there, and I don't remember, was Josiah there probably?
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything that he told us he will.
Yeah, well, I'd say two things to that. I think that there's a different administration here and now, meaning in the Senate, and there's also a more robust administration at the campus level with President Tandy and CFO Simmons and all these different people. And so I think that the one word follow through is going to be executed upon. We have bi-weekly meetings with President Tandy about these things.
Yeah.
And so Tandy goes to the departmental town halls to get our students' input. And now we're going and having a department head sort of town halls with the Senate to then get their input. And all of this is being accumulated and compiled for President Tandy and for our questioning and for our, I don't want to say interrogating, but to make sure that what needs to be done is being done. And so bi-weekly, we have these meetings with President Tandy where we talk about all of these things. And then we leave it up to that administration to follow through. And so far, I think that they're doing a pretty good job. But a BP week?
So I'd say with Dr. McGee coming in, like, we only have a limited time with him. I would say now would be a great time to think about what your questions are. Like really make them pointed and make them really specific questions that can help us move things forward.
Yeah, like, just so you understand to what kind of extent the problem might be, maybe you guys don't know. Like, last year he told us he's gonna onboard 2 more people, but this year he lost one another, and they were already understaffed, and he didn't onboard anybody else. And we also have an EHA right now, teaching like ME class, which is like 100 people, 120, and a circuits one for the electrical specifically. And there's some other classes for CC2, like if you fail, like you're good basically, like you need to wait a whole another year to take a class.
BP week.
I would say those are all great concerns, and I know those are concerns that we've talked about that are unfortunately still problems. And so obviously we should bring those up next week. I will say when I talked to Dr. Magoo about a week ago for a different thing, he seemed very open and was looking forward to the opportunity to explain where things are at and how like the direction that he sees. Yeah, I will say it's troubling the things that are happening in that department.
No, it's just what I didn't know you guys were doing that. It's just how I personally felt about everything.
Yeah. I'm going to just call point of order here because we're going to get off on the rails. But I thank you for the input, Senator Yovanovitch. And yeah, next week, sure, come with questions and come with hard questions. And really, I'd also say this, Public Senator, anybody can attend these meetings, any student. And so I think if you have students that share the same opinions that aren't in this room right now, I would encourage them to actually come. And we have plenty of seats, there's plenty of chairs in that corner. Every one of these meetings is open. Sure. And so I'd encourage, if you want to bring in 25, 30 students to, put them on trial, that's up to you. I won't, I'm in front of camera here, but that's your right.
Sure.
So,
thank you.
Take it at liberty, yep. Going to be moving on to new business. Fosted Weed 26S005, King Center parking for yellow passes. Senator Stolman, take it away.
Resolution number 26S005 originated by the Athletic Committee and presented by myself. Whereas an approximate 30 to 50 students who hold yellow parking passes as residents of Rocker Square 1, 2, and Placer Hall utilize the King Center between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. and between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. and student athletes have mandatory lifts during these hours regardless of weather conditions, and allowing students to drive rather than walk the King Center would increase convenience and safety, and noting no parking lots are within a 5-minute walking distance of the King Center and are currently open to yellow parking passes. Therefore, be it resolved that the Student Association Senate formally recommends that Facility Services extend access to the gravel lot west of the King Center to yellow parking passes for non-overnight use.
What questions you got? Senator Byrne.
I'd like to say there is a yellow lot, and they will use it against you if you're going to push for this. It is right next to the football field, and it's probably a 2-minute walk. With that being said, I kind of disagree with this in a sense. I feel like to a certain extent you give them an inch and they're going to take a mile, especially with that demographic. We've had issues in res life with them, and I can see issues coming from this with parking appeals. I wish the person who was sitting on it was here, but to an extent it's just going to cause more work for everyone else. But I understand why you're trying to do it. So. So that one right there is technically a yellow-red lot, and there's probably 10 to 15 spots there, and that is for sure within 5 minutes. And this is the gravel lot that the resolution.
So I guess, Senator Byrne, I'll ask you a follow-up question. What would be the concerns of opening up It's already there for red
Yeah.
and for blue. And so I guess what would be the concern of opening it up for yellow if you're just adding one more?
I feel like we already have so many issues with parking on this campus. Like, everyone's already fighting for spots, especially, like, up at King Center, it's not a big deal in the morning. But
Right.
like, if you can guarantee that they're out, which we almost never can, by 9 a.m., like when classes actually start rolling in, I feel like that's a different story. But then you also have to deal with people like I could just go park up there if I wanted to. Because not everyone's gonna have that ticket, right? Like I want to bring another car to campus, I can now park there. I can get 2 parking passes or just alternate them, but.
So the thing to know, and maybe we should have put that in the resolution, but this will still be non-overnight.
It's, okay.
So the hope is that if you wanted to go lift in the morning, but you didn't want to walk, you could just drive up there, go lift, go back to your,
Okay.
to Placer, and then park in your normal spot.
So this
I'm
isn't
not
the
sure if
one-
that's a realistic expectation for everyone to do that though.
This isn't the one with like the traveling overnight.
That's a separate resolution.
Separate resolution. Senator Jessen.
I think that's a good point, though. I mean, this is yellow park. It's going to turn into yellow parking, so anyone in Placer and those places can park. And it's not specifically athletes, which I think kind of defeats it a little bit. And also, I think parking is already pretty limited on campus, and those spots right there are pretty fought over. And I'm not sure that opening it up to just athletes because they don't want to walk is the best solution. I mean, I think it'd be great if they had the ability to park there, but we just don't have the capacity, I think, for parking.
Could you not open-
This is relating to yellow, not athlete.
Yeah.
So you said athlete, it's relating to just opening it up to yellow.
Any yellow.
Any yellow, not just athlete. You just said athlete. So
Well, isn't that the point of it? Is for athletes? though?
nope, that's a separate resolution. So like I said, we have
Can you go back to the
resolutions.
resolution?
It's to help athletes, but it's open to any yellow. Meaning anybody at Placer, anybody at Rocker 1 and 2. There's a separate overnight athlete one coming up in 006, which is the one that's coming up right after. Senator Byrne?
I think what he was trying to say was like the gravel spot is like already so fought over. Like that's a very prime spot, I would like to say. I mean, as stupid as it sounds, walk the extra two minutes to park in the back of King Center. But like I would agree with opening up King Center versus opening up that gravel spot. Like if you're gonna open up that gravel spot, I feel like you have to open up everything. Like those are all kind of bunched together. Because I can see a lot of annoyance coming from people who have an 8 a.m. class in King Center, and they're like, why the hell are yellow people parked in, like, why the hell are yellow people parked in my spot? Like, why did that happen? So,
Well, excuse the vocabulary. Senator Bowmeister.
I guess then I have a point of clarification question for Stolman. Was there a reason to explicitly ask for the gravel lot west of the King Center? Or would opening up the King Center parking lot fill that and cause less issues?
Yeah, the biggest reason we wanted to keep it to a limited spot is because of the limited number of students who use it. So to kind of counter your point, if we open the entire lot, then it more incentivizes to do what you're doing. It's like if you could just park it there for the whole day. By restricting the lot and the access to the lot, and that, I mean that's only 10 or 12 spaces, you're then de-incentivizing people to come up and not park illegally.
Senator Byrne.
do you see an issue with advertisement as well? Because I know like right now, it's like in everywhere you park is all day, and the only signs that really clarify are no overnight. So could you see an issue with like red/yellow, but only yellow from this time, and then you have all those people coming to appeals saying, oh, well, we didn't know that.
Well, this is where the second resolution comes in, is
Okay.
that King Center is strictly not overnight already.
All right,
So
perfect.
all this resolution is saying is we're expanding this part for yellow, and that's it. This has nothing to do with it.
From those times.
Yeah, the times are just to address the demographic of who's using the King Center when.
So the resolution is not just for those times, but it's
No.
yellow would be included for all overnight, non-overnight use.
Yes.
Senator Halsted, do you have a point?
Yeah. This might be just a stupid question, but why isn't there an athlete parking pass?
Senator Stoll?
That's actually a really good question. I had advanced conversations with Cassie and Director Crum earlier this week, kind of asking that same question. The biggest reason right now is that it seems way too big of a swing. To start assigning parking passes by what you do on campus, apart from staff, seems. I mean, how do you enforce it, and B, how do you like? It makes everyone's jobs a lot easier, and adds another layer of complexity. And so the initial swing here is if we just make this adjustment to the lots, it fixes a lot of the problems that athletics are seeing right now, while opening up accessibility for everyone else living on campus.
Proxy on the update.
That lot used to be open too, so like when I came on as a freshman, that lot used to be for your freshman dorms anyway. So that lot's changed a lot over the time.
Okay.
So like I don't really see in my personal opinion seeing an issue of that changing to a yellow lot. And it's just as simple as this. If they see you in a spot that you're not supposed to park in, they take you. I mean, I was on a parking appeals committee for two years, and that was what it was, is that there was a lot of, I even knew the cars, so the athletes who parked in the wrong spot. That's too bad. I mean, you know you're not supposed to park there. That's like that's just a no-brainer. So I feel like that's not a lot of level of complexity, and to someone's point, adding the whole thing would create a lot of complexity. Like having it there, you're taking the gamble to drive, right? And so I feel like you're taking the calculated risk of, I might not have a spot, I'd have to drive down or either take it basically, right? But if you open the whole thing, that's a heyday. I know what it's like to go to those lists and you're like, oh man, driving would be way easier. And you just I feel like that's the can of worms, is opening the whole Keene Center. That would be a really big can of worms.
Okay, thank you. All right, this is just the first reading. Chase will be taking recommendations and revisions. We will see this next week, all right? Moving on to the next one, Chase, stay up there. 006, overnight athletic permits for yellow parking pass.
Yep, so again, originated by the athletic committee and presented by myself. Whereas student athletes often return from away trips late at night, and whereas allowing student athletes with yellow permits living in Placer Hall, Rocker Square 1, or Rocker Square 2 to drive rather than walk back to their residences would increase safety and convenience, and noting section 2.3.a.f of the parking procedures allows for athletic permits to be issued to commuter athletes for overnight parking in specified lots during away trips. And therefore be it resolved that the Student Association Senate formally recommends that Facility Services amend section 2.3.a.f of the parking procedures to allow athletic permits to be issued to both red permit and yellow permit holders for the purposes of overnight parking on away trips.
Questions?
Comment.
Yep.
So as I guess one of the two permanent athlete senators in this room, I just want to comment that this is a safety issue because you're coming back from a meeting at around midnight, as we will be, because we're going to Mitchell in one day for a meeting. So we're going to be getting back, thankfully it'll be 50 degrees, but let's say 0. Then we're all walking down in our little shorts down to Placer. Clearly this is a safety thing because we're freezing our ankles off just trying to get there, on top of already running our bottoms out at a meet. So I'll be voting yes on this, and thank you for your consideration.
So I just thought of this after counting to write this, but what if people will pick up and drop off at the stadium instead?
I can comment on that.
Senator Simpson.
Yes, so we always take buses for the most part, and those things just can't really maneuver well in tight areas. And then
stadium?
Well, why would we go to the stadium? We wouldn't play.
Years in the life.
Yeah.
Because you were suggesting dropping them off in the stadium, right?
Yeah, so like permanent, like overnight parking in the stadium, and then getting picked up and dropped off there.
Yeah, I think to that point, I think in every realistic mind that makes sense to do. But I think putting this into the rules doesn't allow that not to happen. I think the purpose of instituting something like this is to ensure that an athlete, in the case that there is no one available to help, in the case that something's gone wrong, and there's just no one should have to rely on somebody else for something that could be easily fixed with an amendment like this. There shouldn't be a dependence on your teammates, or obviously within a sport there is, but in the sense where like you're asking for those rides because I mean something could come up on their end too. Like they have a family emergency they need to go to. All of a sudden they can't take you. What are you supposed to do? And so this would be protecting that group of athletes just by guaranteeing them a spot and their own control over the situation.
Senator Baumeister.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be fairly blunt, but I was just gonna say, I don't understand why we're coming up with all these if, ands, or buts about what could be, or what should be about parking right now, or how the shuttle should be used. We can make a suggestion about what we would like to see change, which I see here. We can't change how the shuttle works, right? We can't change how big that bus is, so let's do something.
Senator Byrd?
Do you know, like, I really don't know, do you know why they don't allow, like, what, they obviously have reasoning for it, like, surely, do you know what that reasoning is?
Yeah, so it ties into red and blue being the only permitted parking passes of the King Center. And so that's it.
Okay.
And so kind of the two resolutions go together. By expanding that one lot to yellow, all of a sudden they would then be eligible by this. But if we put it in the wording as a separate resolution, then in case, you know, the facility decides not to make it yellow, those yellow permit athletes still have the ability to park. That's why we keep them as two separate things.
Okay. Seeing nothing else, moving on. Thank you. We'll see this next week. FOSTA Week 26F-07, Music Center Equipment Funding, originated by VP Weedy and myself, presented by me. Whereas the Music Center needs improved audio equipment for outdoor events, and whereas Dr. Harriet Scheppers, Director of Choirs, is requesting $1,700 to purchase the equipment listed in the attached proposal, and notings, this equipment would greatly impact both students who participate in the music program as well as those who take part in events such as performances at football games, and noting a strong precedence exists currently for utilizing reverted SOAP monies to fund projects which benefit the general student body, and therefore be it resolved by majority of the student senate, signature of myself, that $1,700 be allocated from the SOAP reverted funds account for SA003 to the music center for this equipment purchase. Questions, comments, and clarity in what Dr. Scheppers presented? No? Oh, Senator Baumeister.
I'm looking at the budget that Scheppers gave us. He has listed as being the total of 1602.
Look at the bottom, look at the fine print that says no.
Right.
Under it.
Yeah, I'm asking what the reason for asking for almost $100 more than what the estimated total is.
He said taxes were not included in those estimates for all the pieces of equipment.
Okay.
And that would come to be probably, I don't know, around $50, $60, $70, I assume.
Okay.
Shipping probably as well.
Yep.
Question for you all, would you like him, so this is the first reading, we can approve it next week, if you all vote to do so. Would you like him to look into Haggerty's, which is the local, if you just a second, let me finish my sentence. Look into Haggerty's, the local music store, to see if they can sponsor part of it or help out. I know he had comments about them not being able to help install stuff like that. Senator Smith, I saw you first.
I've worked with them through pep band. They're very good at like repairing instruments. They're not the best with like buying things. Like they have some options, but you know, this is South Dakota, right? We have a limited amount of options. We want the best things possible.
Okay.
I mean, if you wanted to look at them for like, he said he couldn't do it with like installation, but like, they're not, I love them. They're not reliable though.
Okay.
Like with instrument repairs, they're great, but purchasing things, it's like, you know, limited stock you want.
Good to know.
He knows what he's doing.
Got it. Comment over here?
I mean, I think it's not a bad idea. You just keep that relationship, you know, something that you work with them, and it doesn't hurt that. See what they can do.
Senator Wolmeister.
So when Dr. Scheppers came in the first time with this proposal, he had said that he was going to come in and have a professional come look at the equipment that we had and talk through what we needed. And now he's saying that he went and posted online asking for recommendations and that's what he's gone with. So I'm feeling like there's a little bit of a
Senator Smith.
It's hard to have a professional come and look at the equipment that we have when the professionals in this city are the people from Haggerty's who have already told him that they don't know how to work with the equipment that we already have. So it's very hard to find somebody else. So online forums are likely the only place. He posted in a well-known, like this is a respected group of people who do his job in other places, who know their equipment, who probably have more access to these professionals. So I feel that he's doing the best thing that he can with the resources that this small town has given him.
Senator Sanchez.
I just have an open-ended question of, is this going to create a precedent of people such as Dave Crum of the athletic departments or Jalen Roberts coming to us and just asking for funds out of the so-perverted funds?
The point that I'd make there is that I think that I would encourage not just students, if they have initiatives that they want to see passed, but also faculty and administrators, if they have something that's going to impact hundreds of students' lives, potentially, and for the good of the student, not just for their pockets or their pleasure. I would encourage people to do that, because ultimately the decision is not made when they come in. The decision is made by this body. And I think that's what this body is here to do, is to discuss these things and deliberate, and then eventually make a vote on it. Director Davis?
So one clarification, and you guys would approve it once, so say you approve it and the equipment comes, that I would ask a further clarification on is the mixer piece. So I'm not against necessarily, I think their preference would be that it's something that can be movable, right? That we're not gonna, it doesn't constantly have to be installed at the stage, for example. So I think about when we have events down, or out of the quad, for example. So President's Picnic, we're trying to teach songs to freshmen and make announcements. You can't hear anything when you're out there, right? And so having something like this could take care of that problem. It could take care, and just so if there's a way to move things about, even if he's still managing it, then it kind of alleviates some other issues and have a greater impact on students as a whole.
Yep. Senator Burr.
Another thing is, I think that this is affecting the whole student population versus a very small athletic population on campus. Not small, but a smaller population. I've been going to the games for the last 12 years. And a point that we've always had is our sound system is terrible. Like, you can't hear the band. And it's not the band's fault. There's just very few of them. So I think this would help people on the range spots to be able to hear the band, people to be able to hear the choir when they sing. If it's windy, you can't hear anything. So I feel like this is a good investment for our students and the people that come to the games and pay that premium price for those ranch spots. So yeah.
Senator Halsted.
Just to expand on that, I mean, I think that it's a really good investment, and since there's so much money in this fund, why don't we just get two nights? I mean, why are we being so frugal with this money when it's, I mean, this is like how we represent ourselves in front of everyone. Yeah, we should have the equipment. We should have plenty of equipment, especially if we have this much money sitting there.
What's that? Here, don't have one, have two. Senator Smith.
To talk more about your point, Director Hudson, it looks like it is movable. I think you would just keep it there. As long as you have like a source of power, it should be fine.
Yep.
So it would be used, it could be, the mixer could be used everywhere. I think the microphones are just the most like transportable thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Senator Meyer. Yep.
Sorry, you pointed that way.
No, I was going to say, and then him, I didn't want to be recording.
Well, I was just thinking, since, you know, like, having initiatives come in and get money, you gotta be responsible with that fund, because eventually it's gonna go dry if everybody wants to use it. And it's good if people are using it, in my opinion, but I was just thinking that it'd be good, in my opinion, if we stipulated that, for instance, it's good if he's in charge of it, but there should still remain this, a system where students are able to easily use it. And of course, like, for instance, for the President's Dinner or picnic or whatever, if they have it scheduled out, they rent it out for this time, then students can see, oh, I can't use it for this day, but if
still rental per se.
Right.
Just like you would rent a pool key from Survey.
Senator Jessen.
I was just, wanted to comment on what Carson said, how it's like, I go to the games, this represents a bigger population, well, that, the games happen because of the athletes, so, yeah.
Senator Goldmeister, and you'll be the last.
I recognize that I've gone over my 2 times, so I
Yeah.
So I would like to see someone who knows how to use this and how to connect this equipment up. Have someone identified before all this equipment is purchased, and then we have, almost $2,000 worth of equipment that's just sitting there useless, and we don't have someone that knows how to actually set up. Seriously, we've been in here for how long? And the amount of technology and equipment that we have to spread out, and we don't use because no one knows how to use it.
Do you know how to install them? I can do it. Director Hudson.
I'm not volunteers. What I would, we can have this conversation, but I think where it should end up as far as scheduling it is I would send it to the scheduling office, honestly, because if we're doing something out on the quad or whatever, they would schedule that piece. And then along those lines, I think we could then have conversations with Dane and IT. He's setting all that technology up for all those events, so there's folks on campus that I think we would connect with that.
Senator Jensen, last point.
Just to counter what Burmeister said, with that, you can learn how to use it, and you don't need a super expert in sound systems. It can just be someone who's familiar with sound systems that can put one together and test it and see if it works and use it safely without breaking it.
Maybe that'll be a subcommittee. All right, enough discussion on that. We'll see you next week. Thank you for your input. Faucet V 26S008, graduate parking permit. Senator Beaumeister.
Oh, yeah, that's all. I'm not seeing it in my email. Let me double check.
It's in the email.
To my personal
Can we just, if we can't pull it up, are you guys good just
We're pulling it
yes
up.
and
Just
then
hold on.
All right. Yeah. So Boston Weave Resolution 007. 008. Originated by myself on behalf of the graduate students, presented by myself. Whereas graduate students are essential members of the academic community who frequently require access to campus facilities for research and study between the hours of 4 p.m. and 6 a.m. And whereas current policy restricts commuting graduate students to red parking permits, forcing them to walk longer distances in the dark and creating unnecessary safety risks that fail to account for student well-being, and whereas it has been observed that blue faculty parking spaces, which are often located closer to academic buildings, are significantly underutilized and largely vacant during these evenings and overnight hours. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Student Senate deem it appropriate to officially recommend that facilities management prioritizes student safety by creating an add-on permit option. This option shall grant graduate students the authority to park in blue zones between the hours of 4 p.m. and 6 a.m., thereby maximizing the use of existing infrastructure while ensuring student safety and convenience.
Questions, comments?
Concerns?
Senator Burke.
Clarification, what lots, Clive, can you show that map again? Do you have that map? What lots are you trying to open?
So it would be accessing the
blue lots, which are right next to the academic buildings.
But like, in specifically, what lots are graduate students using? Like, because obviously, will they need access?
Graduate students only have the option of getting red.
Okay.
So allowing them to move their cars after 4 p.m. to be next to their academic buildings where they're doing research in terms of, I know that at least for the nano department, they have a lot of time sensitive experiments where they have to go into the lab at like 2 in the morning. And so parking down at the stadium and then having to walk all the way to EEP and then do an experiment and then walk back, that has issues. And so allowing them to park where there's no one parking and not taking up those spots. Yes.
Senator Byrd.
Okay, pardon my arrogance here, but the stadium is a red lot, correct?
Yes.
And then so is that lot right under Vanderbloom, which is,
Right.
is it worth that extra minute to 2 minute walk? Like, is it that big a deal
It
to pass
depends.
this?
It depends on the.
Like, I'm just saying, is this worth the time to go and push for to open those blue lots?
From the graduate conversations that I've had, yes. They were really pushing to get access to be able to purchase blue in and of itself. And so I've tried, like, what can I do? Because just giving them full-blown access to blue doesn't work because faculty needs that spots. So,
Secretary Siegfried.
Just to clarify university policy, current policy states that if you are working in a hazardous lab, you have to be done with your work by 6 p.m. And if you are working in a non-hazardous lab, it's 9 p.m. And you will get in trouble if you do not adhere to those guidelines. We all know that not every situation applies every scenario. Sometimes you do have time-sensitive experiments, but I do wonder if directly contradicting university policy in this way is wise.
Senator Smith.
How would you make sure that other red parking passes, like students who are commuters, would purchase these ones?
well, I mean, they wouldn't be able to, just like how when you log in to purchase your parking pass, you have to like sign in, and then it gives you your options that you can purchase, and so it would just be a part of a graduate's purchase options.
So you'd have to like add into the
Yeah, and so
okay.
the purpose for also adding this in would also be to help generate more revenue for the facilities.
Okay.
As an incentive for them to push this along, because they're always complaining about how they don't have money.
Would
So,
it add revenue?
purchasing the add-on. So they would.
Oh, okay.
It wouldn't just be a designation of every graduate. They could choose to purchase this if they are like, I am here all the time, late at night. I do not want to walk dead of winter all the way back to the stadium.
Senator Burns.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna ask again. Do you have references for this? Like, give a survey? Because the way it sounds, this is the majority population of graduates, but I feel like that's an unfair assumption that I'm making. But I also don't have those references, or none of us have that data to look at. It's all this kind of hearsay, which
You want to come to a GSS meeting?
is fair. I feel like that's not exactly a responsibility that I have to take on with you requesting this resolution. So I'm just saying, if you want more people behind it, I feel like a survey is a fair request to ask for, or something, have them come in and speak. But like, it feels like a very small population, in my opinion. So it's very hard to get behind to do all this work for.
I will go Statler and then Justin. I'll have the last word. We'll be done.
Yeah, I second Senator Byrne. I'm also concerned regarding faculty, making sure that faculty have the space to park other things and not having to compete with the grad students. I understand that these may look underutilized at this moment, but I'm concerned with potentially flooding the blue faculty spaces with grad students that faculty don't have reliable parking.
Yeah. Senator Justin.
Agreed with Nathan, and also I think there's adequate access with red. I think it's like a 1 minute walk in for most buildings, so
Sure. And then I'll have the last word here. A couple thoughts. One thought, now this is really the devil's advocate, but I love that. So this campus currently does not have, this was something we discussed earlier, does not have like overnight classes or evening classes. That may change in the future as we grow and expand. One might think, well, why don't all the blue spots open up to red or any color after the working hours, close business day at 5 p.m. And then when you're there at 8 a.m. overnight, you get ticketed, and eventually you get ticketed enough that you go into debt. There's a thought, but that really is the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
But one could question that.
Revenue boost.
Yeah.
Revenue boost.
What'd you say?
Revenue boost.
Well, I mean, one could question it. That'd be a very big step. But one could question it. Then the final thought, I think that a survey would be useful just by the grads to see if, like, how much it matters to them, having these spots available and open to them. So if you can get a survey, give it to them,
I
get
can,
those results back.
I can try and get grad students to come in here. I might be able to get Cheyenne, who's head of GSS, to come in here and talk. I will warn you, they are a lot more passionate about this than I am. They're really frustrated at the fact that they are paid to be here. They do not pay to go here. A lot of them are paid to be here, and they spend more time on this campus than a lot of people, probably most, and yet they don't have the ability to park next to where they are working.
We're taking away the paid help.
Thank you, Senator Baumeister. We will see this next week, and then if Cheyenne can come in, let us know. Okay?
I can try.
All right, moving on. We're just steamrolling here. We're getting later, and I don't want to be here all night. Agenda, please. Good discussion, y'all. Open discussion. I'll make this quick. Here's an update of HB 1133. Or should I let Alfredo or Austin? You guys take it away. What happened? Or Nate, you were there?
Sure. Yeah, so House Bill 1133 was deferred to the 41st legislative day, which is the polite way they kill bills in the South Dakota legislature. The representative does have the opportunity to do what's called a smokeout and bypass the legislature with, the committee with 1/3 of the House body. He has 3 days or so to do that. So currently House Bill 1133 is off the table, but could be resurrected, but as of right now is sort of dead.
Yeah. When Clive had a call with Rep. Jordan, he said that was his intent, was to try to smoke it out. I had a call with, I called Logan Manhart, who's a co-sponsor of the bill. He thinks they will have the ability and have the people to smoke it out. Once again, you have that 3 legislative day time frame to do that, which is just a tight time frame. We haven't heard any updates as of today. Senator Severson.
When the future of this bill becomes more certain, do you want PR to send out an email with the information to the student body about the results of this?
Yeah, I think given that we surveyed them, I think it'd be responsible to give them a kind of a result of what happened. So.
Yep. We can do that after we find out if it's going to go to the full house or what happens. Sure. Any other comments on that before we move on? Seeing none, moving on to HB 1325. Woo-wee! This one just came out today, and this is a doozy. Alfredo.
Yep. So that one just came out today. It was introduced by Representative Jordan, which is also 1133 as well. And this one is an act to prohibit the Board of Regents and institutions under its control from requiring certain students to reside in on-campus housing and purchasing their meal plans. And this would, and then that would only require first-year students to live on campus and purchase meal plans. And other than that, nobody else would be required to. So it's basically the same one as last legislative session.
Last legislative session, as I understand it, though, would take away all requirements.
Yeah,
right?
and this one's just only first-year students have to are required.
Okay. In my opinion, this is just me. It's more concerning for the board, but I think it's probably more attainable by the legislature.
Yeah.
Because last year the concern was that the universities would lose their AAA rating when, getting loans and from the bank and stuff like that, because they can't guarantee that they're gonna have this income if you have no students guaranteed coming. You know what I mean? Like, you can take away all requirements for meals and housing. So this one, there's still a requirement for that 1 year, but it'll still probably be very tight on the schools that can pass. Senator Jess.
Yeah, what a shame to put the school in their fire and they can actually provide good housing. And
Yeah.
What a
That's
shame.
definitely one way to look at it. I hear you. Any other comments on that before we move on? It's moving to committee. We don't know when yet. When we do know, probably we'll look at a survey or something along the lines of that. Now, if we don't look at a survey just for this, we are actively getting the results of the housing plan survey. That was done in the fall, and we'll have that here in the next couple of days. Senator Meyer.
Is student planning on taking a stance on the HB?
They have not discussed it. I assume yes.
Okay.
I assume they're going to try to craft up a resolution. That does not mean they will take a stance. Each Senate will have to take their own stances in order for student to take a stance, if you know what I mean by that. How that works is, we like to do it very democratically here at Fines, Clive and I. We like to, with issues that impact literally every student or prospective student, we like to survey, gather those results, and then either we can take a stance or not take a stance. With 1133, we didn't think it would be, and I talked with Logan Manhart about this on 1133. I said, tell me your opinion, Logan. Is it effective for a student to come to Pierre to testify and say, 25 members of our student senate voted to, not approve this, to not approve it. And I said, or is it more effective to say we had 486 students surveyed, 58% are against it? And he's like, yeah, I don't care what any student government thinks. That's what he said. Now, that's, numbers are better, right? So that'll be similar with this one, is essentially student that will try to pass something, and we'll see what happens. Senator Sadler.
Yeah, so for purposes, I think we should conduct our own survey regarding House Bill 1325 and disregard the Board of Regents' previous survey. I know Jordan Lannert, who was on that committee making that survey, raised concerns about it being biased and kind of was quietly swept aside with those concerns on that committee. I mean, I saw the posters, they were giving facts about, students living on campus get better grades. I really question how neutral or truly representative that survey was and how it was conducted.
Fair point. That's a very fair point. Any other comments? So we got work cut out. All right, moving on to athletic senator position. Clive, you added this to open discussion. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, I just wanted to give the opportunity for Senator Stolman to talk about some things that we've discussed about the athletic senator position, the opportunities in that realm, and why I personally think it could be an important addition to student body. So do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so the biggest push from athletics right now is ensuring constant community engagement. And so in that regard, being able to have a designated position in the Senate would not only allow continued proper representation. What we've done this year with an athletics committee has been great, and I'm truly thankful that we've been able to do that. But the concern is that it's not a sustainable method for the Senate. It doesn't represent that student athletes in the best way if there's no student athlete actively in Senate. And since student athletes, I very much make the biggest demographic of students students here that are on scholarship to perform for their sports. Like, we come to the school with scholarships, and if we don't perform, we could get cut. We get cut from the program, and then all of a sudden our future at this school is also in jeopardy as well. And so by having constant representation, at least at the student senate level, we're ensuring that our concerns, which are unique to the demands of the student athlete, not just with time, but with homework and travel, are constantly at least being represented, and there's a continued voice, a sustained voice, not just individuals like me and Luke who have offered our time on our own to put into the student senate and make change for what we see as right. And so by making it a full-time position, we're ensuring proper representation and then an ensured link between us and SAC, who is the governing body of the student athletes, and that their needs are also being represented at this level.
So if I can add to that, I think when we talked about this previously, the logistics of like working with athletes who may be available one semester but not in a different semester was an issue. I think we all are on the same page on how we might be able to solve that with kind of having one for each semester, or a different athletic center for each semester. Another concern I've heard is that you know, we might make a position and have difficulty filling it in the future. I think really with Luke and Chase and their work this semester, I think SAC has really seen where this could be, and so filling this role, I think in the future would not be an issue as far as I can see.
Yeah, and I have a meeting with SAC later this week to talk logistics, but the initial idea right now is that SAC would formally recommend either probably two of those senators, one for each semester, so then they're at least always filling the position. It would still remain open for voting, but they would have recommendations so that there's constantly being someone filled. It wouldn't be a seat left wanting at any point.
Seeing nothing else. Thank you, Chase, I appreciate it. Moving on, special senator election timeline. BB.
So, too bad our constitution chair isn't here, but obviously we've been working on making some of our special senator election or special senator positions elected rather than appointed. I think we were all on the same page on that. The question here really is whether we want them to be voted in with our class senators, so sophomores, juniors, and seniors, which would be late in the spring, or with the freshmen, which would be early in the fall. In my opinion, I think doing it in the late spring makes more sense. You can still get qualified people, I think, and you have a full Senate going into the fall, same as the freshmen. That's my personal opinion, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on that before we move forward with that plan.
Senator Smith.
Would there be any confusion, like it getting lost? Would it be on the same ballot? Do people know that they're voting for two things? That's my concern.
So for this year, that's really going to be a challenge. The way the timeline works is we pass the constitutional changes with the presidential and vice presidential election, and then that weekend, spring break would begin. We'd be out for a week, and then the moment we're back, the middle of that week, we start petitions for those positions. And so I think we're going to really have to work hard on the PR standpoint to get things out, but I think there's enough of a buffer here where we could get the word out to the demographics. It'll definitely be challenging this first year, but I think in the long run, this makes a lot more sense than starting in the fall.
Senator Meyer.
I don't care either way, but I'm just saying that there's a mild concern in my head where if we put it in the spring, we're losing a potential percent. For instance, if a freshman senator wanted to be, what can freshman senators be like? For instance, like an international representative. And so I'm like, well, we're kind of cutting the freshmen out from achieving those spots, and so I don't want to.
So I think historically, to respond to that, I think historically a lot of the special senators have been non-freshmen, just because they have been appointed in the spring. And I think that freshmen, this is just my opinion, but I think they're more concerned about maybe just trying to figure out where they stand at the university and what things are. So I think if you look at the graduate, for instance, they're probably not going to come in as a freshman graduate student, so that'd be taken care of. They might come in as a freshman vet or a freshman ROTC, but if they're ROTC, they probably haven't had much experience with campus, and they're probably going to be focusing on just trying to make an impression for the ROTC. The vets, they might not care if they're a freshman, they're just trying to figure out where the hell they're going.
We'll let you know.
Yeah. And so then that leaves you with international and non-trad, stuff like that. That's just my opinion though, but I hear your point. Senator Sattler.
Are we doing petitions for these nominations, for these special positions, voting, or what is that looking like?
Yes, so it'll be very similar to the class senator positions. That's the plan right now. I'm actively discussing with Senator Keel, like what the petition or like the number of signatures that would be required for each of those demographics. We might stick with the 20 for class senators, but yeah, that's something we'll have to sort out in the next couple days.
Yep. Just a note on all of this, right? We're gonna have constitution changes coming, meaning these. We're gonna have a budget coming. We're gonna have Mayor Solomon coming. We're gonna have Dr. Herman coming. Yeah, I know there's a line on it, but I'm just too eager to tell them. I'm gonna send out the email the week of February 18th, and it's gonna be 2 words. It's gonna say buckle up. That's gonna be the meeting where we're gonna be having all these first readings, and so get ready. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna keep checking. CFO report.
Yipper, so in my report, I just want to mention that hopefully in the next 2 weeks, we'll be meeting with VP Simmons and the business office to talk about possibly investing various different funds that we have with the school and talking about the university budget, how that's looking now that we're past second semester, and everyone's paid and enrollment, all that fun stuff, as well as gap fees coming up. In the pipeline, we have a Vets Club supplemental that got submitted to me just before this meeting. I'm talking with Nesby tomorrow morning about soap issues. And then, like Jake said, we're working on the FY27 Senate budget. I'll be the end of my report. Any questions?
All right, seeing none, moving on. Thank you, CFO Sean. VP report.
In the interest of time, I'm just going to thank you all for your hard work. I just looked at the list of resolutions we've passed this administration. We have about 40. We've done some crazy stuff this month, and that's just like stupid resolutions that we read and pass. We've done a lot of work outside of that, and I'm proud of y'all. So keep thinking about whether you're going to run for re-election or whatnot, and how you want to shape future Senate. So thank you, and support.
All right. Any questions for VP Weed? Seeing none, I'll just echo that. It's been a crazy time. We're steamrolling into the spring here. I know we're getting out of here quick. A few things that I do have. I'm working, so we met with Lance Lehman. He's a city councilman. Met with him last Thursday. Amazing work. He asked us how we can be involved with the city, how he can be involved with us, the city, with Mines. And they're talking about concrete steps that we can take with scholarships, sponsorships, internships, all these different things, even physical expansion plans with campus, right, that they're willing to talk about and work with campus on. He is getting us in contact with businesses downtown to display like Mines flags, Mines merch. We're going through methods with him on how to reach out to not just the city but the county to let people know about what's going on in Mines and marketing all that, right? That's what we want to do, is get the city more involved. With that, we're getting involved. I'm going to be on the committee. I'd like all of you, whoever wants to be, whoever's going to be here, we're going to be taking part in America 250. Rapid City has a committee being planned, and it's planned currently. It's going to be, of course, they're biased, but they say it's going to be the biggest celebration in the country. That's their words, not mine. The biggest celebration. I'll stop while I'm ahead, but anyway, so what that means is essentially anybody who wants to help with that can be on that, we can create a little task force in here to help with that. The feds are going to be here in July. They're going to be shutting down like a lot of downtown, I think, for parades and activities. It's going to be huge. So keep that in your mind. Let's see. That is the end of my report. Senator Smith.
With the talking about flat like banners and things on the light posts, beautification does a lot of that. So you might want to contact them. They probably have a place where they get them made.
Okay, that's great to know. I see Bert.
Oh, I know Sam Harkin mentioned that downtown Rapid City was going to start charging us to put banners up. I don't know what, I'm not sure exactly what was mentioned. I briefly remember a conversation with her about that. Is there any information on that?
So I don't know what the agreement is for welcoming. You see a lot of the veterans banners, and there's a process for those ones. Obviously, the closer to the campus we have those pretty consistent. The one that we're having to deal with is like during Rocker Days, is over the street banners.
Okay.
So for 13 years or more since I've been here, they waived that fee. I don't even know what they charge, right? And so this last year they had to go in front of the committee. They ended up approving us that waiver again, but it triggered them coming up with a process of what that looks like in the future. So
Okay.
there could be a charge. We're not sure what it will look like.
Well, unrelated to this.
Yeah, but it is that over the street ones.
Okay.
And this, we're thinking about not only banners on like light poles, but like flags downtown. You know, they have American flags coming out of businesses, and that's business people that have that. And we have contact with those people. But what I would say to that is, I think that it's such a wonderful thing that we've gotten invested and involved with the city in such a capacity. Because now they might be more apt to wave that fee. Oh my gosh, yeah, we don't mind, so let's wave that fee, right? All right, moving on to international.
No report. Comments last Friday. That's about it.
Who's hosting? Do you know?
They don't let me know.
Oh, they don't let you know. Well, dang it. You gotta find that out.
Wait for your email. Send it from the email list.
We'll do it. We'll do it. Veteran report.
Oh boy. So Nemo's coming up quick. This weekend, the 7th and 8th, and next weekend, the 14th and the 15th, we're going to go out and build our new chariot. So if anybody here wants to go and put fire to metal and help us weld or watch us weld or lay claim to our old chariot, absolutely come out. We'd be more than happy to have you. It's a good way to start integrating, and if you can build a good connection with our fellow that we know that lets us do that, probably save you guys trying to do that in the future. And by you guys, I mean us, because I'm part of us too. Yeah, if you want to go, let me know. Send me an email, and we'll see if somebody gets you out there.
Got it.
Any questions?
All right. ROTC report.
ROTC now has the option, housing, to reserve some rooms for us in Peterson, so now ROTC can pick roommates similar to student athletes.
Got it. That's nice. Question for both of you is, any thought more on the collaborative event to increase that partnership between ROTC and the Vets Club before we merge back into the Armed Services Center position?
There's so many ideas right now, we got to sift through them.
Okay.
We've got a real banger coming up.
Okay. If you need help, financial help or planning help, reach out. We want to make, I mean, it could be America 250 themed, it could be trap shooting themed, it could be anything. So, it could be adult drinks themed, I don't know.
Can we mix all three of them together?
Strike that from the record.
Yeah, we'll let you know.
Okay, thanks. Graduate.
Talking with GSS actually kind of currently, with Cheyenne about the resolution that I just read to you guys. Gonna be meeting with them on Friday. We might have to skip a class for that because, there might be small edits / revisions to the resolution that I just read to take into account what you guys said, as well as to better represent what they want as after my meeting with them.
All right.
So,
Any questions or reports? Seeing none? All right, moving on to contract report.
Okay, I got two things. One, update on the scholarships, promoting the scholarship database. We're going to start doing a scholarship of the week post. Jillian is making us a template to highlight a certain scholarship and also provide the link to the database. So hopefully she can have that to us by the end of the week, and we can start that next week. And then I have some updates about the non-traditional email list. I met with Dean Joe about, he has acquired the non-traditional email list. And just so you guys know, the Board of Regents defines a non-traditional student as 24 years or older with no previous college experience. And so, kind of the shocking news about that I found is that Dean Joe, that email list is only 10 students, which I was surprised about. So, that brought up some interesting conversation, and kind of where we were discussing is either we can, as a Senate, change our definition of a non-traditional student, or we can possibly dissolve the position. And so after talking with some of my fellow non-trads and everything, they are open to changing the definition to just include students that are 24 years or older, kind of stating that the challenges that they face would still be the same whether they have credits or non-credits. The caveat with that is definitely that we don't know how much more that's going to open. That could be a couple more students, so we might be right back where we started of not having a large group. So we could look into that and see how much that adds. That could be good, and we could, you know, have that an election for that position, or it might not really make a difference. So, asking your guys' thoughts on it.
Any thoughts from the group? Senator Hill.
I know of 3 students off the top of my head that would fall into the new category. So I was unaware that non-trad meant no previous college.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry you haven't been able to represent me over these last many years. But yeah, I can add 30% to your numbers right now.
Okay. All right. So something to keep in mind, and we can have discussions and just collaborate on that.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Constitution Committee.
Imagine me as Will right now. His words. He wanted to thank Senator Kans for inviting him to his meeting with Dean Joe, and his committee will be ready to act on whatever decisions made by Ryan in regards to the role of the non-trad position. He had a brief meeting with Shelley Tupper where he found she shared some of the frustrations with the process of getting information needed for projects like the special senator, one that this committee is currently working on. She will continue helping me on this project, which I am thankful for, and she's aware of the time constraints we are trying to meet. The reactivation of Environmental and Water Resources Club is currently being worked on, and they are planning to present at next week's meeting. End of report.
Any questions?
I would say if you have any questions, just email.
Email Will.
All
right.
February newsletter came out yesterday. If you have any feedback from either yourself or your constituents, please let me or one of my committee members know. We are getting out presidential, vice presidential nominations flyers out this week.
Got it. Any updates on shirts, polos? That was the thing that came up in our leadership meeting.
I did have a conversation with the client about that.
Okay. All right. We have some ideas floating around, so yep, that'd be great. Seeing no other points, moving. Senator Baumeister. Okay, GR.
We're working in the background on we did the 1133 and now we got the 1325. Probably kind of just be sitting on the background on that and working on that. I got a couple of things from Anthony, since he can't be here tonight. Since he's going to the city council, he mentioned the shed and the career fair and the rail yards relocation study. He mentioned that we provided the HB 1133 results. And he also thanks Lance Lehman, or Councilman Lehman, for coming out and touring the campus. And that we look forward to meeting the mayor on the 18th when he comes in here. He also mentioned that because the TIF got shot down, it's having some effects on the sports complex and how we're planning that. And then it's also like, okay, where do we put, like if we're going to do this, like where do we put it? And there's some, with the innovation, they're thinking about doing some stuff with the innovation district that the city, the town hall, well, not, the elevate's working on. So there's some thoughts going around on how that works. And it's just kind of neat. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then of course that affects their budgets. So they're gonna change it around and work on it. Alfredo has something to report.
Yes, for Pizza Ranch, Nathan and I have been talking. Would you guys be anybody interested? We need at least 4 to 6 people, either Friday or Saturday this week, or Friday or Saturday next week. So any of those 4 days. Show of hands, who would be?
To do what?
What is serve? Yes.
Serve.
So helping out serve.
Like via bus.
Yeah.
What are
the incentives?
We get a cut.
How much money? Do you know?
How much is the cut?
We still don't know how much. Because I need it. I told you to set up a time bill.
They give the big checks though, so
Yeah.
I assume it's a decent cut.
Yeah.
Alfredo, what time did you say?
And usually in the evening, so anytime we set up.
On Saturday, what days?
Oh, this would be either this week if we wanted to, Friday or Saturday, or next week, 13th and 14th, which I don't know if you guys want to do either. But So you can also do 20th or 21st.
No. What time do you think?
Probably like around after 5.
I think it's like 5 to 8 is when I used to do them with high school stuff, like 5 to 8, 5 to 9. I think 8 o'clock. CFO shop.
Looking at what clubs report for the Pizza Ranch fundraiser, it's usually around $350 to $400 per event. Just a heads up.
Okay. Are we looking at the monument, another monument fundraiser? You can see this over the top for
Yep,
fundraising?
it's in March.
Oh, it's in March?
Yeah, it's already scheduled.
Okay,
Since
sorry, I
last week.
didn't hear that last.
Well, but he's asking, like, what would people prefer? So
Yeah.
because usually
Is there a preference, this weekend or next weekend? I know next weekend is dinner dance.
Yep. Or we can also do the following weekend, the 20th or the 21st.
Okay, so this weekend or the following weekend, 20th, 21st.
How many people do I have to bring?
4 to 6.
4 to 6. Only 4 to 6 people. Who could do it this weekend, on Friday or Saturday? 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. Okay. Friday or Saturday?
Friday. I'd rather Saturday.
Maybe hell, let's do both.
Alright.
Can we do both now?
I can check in with them just to make sure.
No, I get that, but we have like 3 that can do Friday, 3 that can do Saturday.
We just need to call the manager and propose dates to her and have her make sure those
Okay.
are available, so.
Yeah.
I'm in for Saturday the 7th.
Me as well.
Okay. Alright, yeah, I think any of those. Just keep us updated with the chat signals, okay? Okay.
And then just last thing, I'm working on getting Dominic some work so that he can get some sleep, so we'll see what.
We have plenty of it. Just to add to that, the point that I didn't talk about, we have a new task list. Dominic, are you in the teams? Did we have you?
No, I don't believe so.
We gotta do that. We have a beautiful, beautiful task list that was created by Vice President Weeds. And it's got like 50 different tasks, that we'd like to complete before the end of our term. Some of you are already assigned to them, the ones that you know which ones you're assigned to, but it's got a great layout. It's got like, if it's partially complete, it's not complete, due dates, importance level, all that sort of stuff. Go check it out. We're going to be basing all of our stuff off of that here in the coming weeks as we really get going. VP Week.
So I attended that city council meeting as well, and one thing that stood out to me was the sports complex is supposed to have an indoor soccer field. And I reached out to Director Crum, and he's like, I was asking, like, are we involved at all, or are we keeping tabs on that? And he's like, he said like they are keeping track of that, but that we don't have a space for a field on our campus. But I'm thinking if there's an indoor field, like maybe we should like start a partnership now, maybe start forming an operational agreement that maybe allows us to utilize that space. I don't know, but I guess this would be a question directed towards Senator Stolman. Like, do you see opportunity there?
Short answer, yes, absolutely. It is one of the biggest shortcomings of our program and relative to the other teams in the RMAC at the D2 level is that we have to be indoor for futsal and don't have access to an indoor turf facility. I will bring this up in further detail with my coach and see if there's a way that you can form a partnership to have like reserved times, because that would be there would be a lot of demand for it. So how would you ensure that if we're part in sponsoring this development, then we would get some priority times? I will look into this further.
All right, student affairs.
Yeah, so I'll be quick. So the SEAL Team 6 email that's out there in the ether, it's floating around. If you're in a club, get signed up or unsign up. There's a we're not interested option. If you have friends that are in clubs, tell them to sign up. There's also an email that went out to seniors just regarding senior gifts, so that's out there. Like Boss Dad said, we had a really good response to the House Bill 1133. We got 486 responses, I believe. Yeah, pretty good compared to what we've gotten in the past for surveys. So, with 58% against the bill, 5% neutral, and 36% for the bill. And then I'm in talks, I was talking with Katie Walls about, I know we talked about free laundry at some point in the past. That's kind of a complaint that continues to come up. She's super for it. She's actually written up a proposal in the past and done like studies on it. and it's gotten shot down, but she thinks with our support we might have a chance. So I'm talking with her, I'm gonna get her data on what she collected, and I'll present more next meeting. But that's pretty much all I got.
Okay.
You guys got questions?
Any Senator Beaumont?
I was just thinking, we have the connection with the head of Board of Regents, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we push this past him, this idea, since we have that connection?
Senator Clausen?
Are you talking about our student representative or what?
No,
Oh,
I'm kind of looking
like
at
region.
Jake.
I was talking Nate Lucas, I think, Executive Director of the Board of
Gotcha.
Regents.
He came in and,
No, that's Partridge.
Yeah.
Partridge came in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think as many people as we can reach out to would be perfect. I was gonna reach out to our student representative on the Board of Regents, I forget his name, do you remember? The guy that was at.
Griffin Peters.
Yeah.
Okay. VP.
So on the free laundry thing, do we have someone who's gonna be working with her on pushing this forward? Like, what's the game plan here?
Well, it's pretty infant, but I was gonna just talk to her and try to get her data, cause she did a survey with her like constituents and gathered like, would you be willing to pay more in housing to have free laundry? And the majority said, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. And then on just like the standpoint of like the machines break because people overload them because they're putting way too much stuff in there, because it's like $3 for laundry. So that would save the school a lot of money. And for whatever reason, it's just been shot down by the Board of Regents, every school that's tried it. And it's not just this school. Like, I think BH, she said they tried and they shot it down. And it wasn't like the board. It was like something with finance. They're just like, we don't want to deal with this. It just fizzled out. So.
Yeah, you can always contact Griffin
Yeah.
Peterson at sdvor.edu. Senator Meyer.
Point of personal privilege.
You bet. Yep. Okay, that's it. We're going to move on to campus ad hocs. Do I have any updates? Parking appeals. Nothing? He's not here. EHSNR, he's not here.
I would, yeah, I'm on that too.
Oh, you are? I'm sorry.
So I'll just do a real quick, no, you're good, you're good. I'll do a real quick summary. They had like a insurance appraiser come in, give them all the stuff that like should be fixed, and they kind of got, like, without fixing it, got it crossed off the list by saying, oh, well, technically this is actually allowed. So paperwork wise, they got out of a lot of it. There's a couple issues with like sprinklers, I think, but for the most part, we crossed everything off that list. They talked about the terrible things they found in the sub-ceiling at Connolly, and they're making a document for the rules of all the maker spaces, so like what you can and can't do. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you. An update, excuse me, CFO shop.
What did they find?
Yeah, no. What?
I want transparency.
Oh, there are all sorts of stuff. They didn't really go into like detail, but I'm aware of some of the things that were up there when I looked up there.
Contraband?
So, yeah, contraband, things you find at Spencer's that.
I remember putting some of that up. It's out there. It's on video. Yeah, there's my PD. All right, commencement committee. The update that I have from there, President Tandy's message came out. It had a little tiny little blurb at the last paragraph about December commencement meetings. Last time he went, I'm going to be emailing the registrar asking for big red letters that say, what's he going to say? Something about the ending of commencement December 2026, right? There's also going to be clarifications about May 2026, because people still don't know what's going on there. Scroll down for me. Anything from housing and dining? I don't think so. Wellness? No.
So if they don't send it out for commencement, can we send it out as a Senate body?
Yeah, that's what's going to be happening if they don't. So I'm in constant contact with Jake. Wellness? Anything?
I don't think meetings even scheduled.
Wellness fair is next week. There you go.
So encourage students to go.
Oh, okay.
Have you, so what time is scheduled yet, the meeting? Okay.
There's not a meeting scheduled.
Do you want to reach out to those people, whoever's leading it? Yeah. We can talk after.
Okay.
Just schedule something. Circle back to your meeting later. I know campus beautification. Anything from there?
No.
Okay. Athletics. Anything pertinent right now?
Swamp drive went really well.
Good. Upcoming Senate business, Mayor Salomon on the 18th. I already told you that. No other announcements. Anything else? Motions, Salcedo.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned, seconded by
Second.
Ascension. All in favor? Aye. Aye.